Shalom, Kol Halo Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakach B'dash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the WW3 Daily update. This is the last one until Monday. And we're going to start out with prophecy coming to pass, all right? And just to let you know exactly that the things that are happening, everything that is happening is in the scriptures, right? To let you know that this book is real and it's alive, all right? And it's a signpost when these things are coming to pass that lets you know how close we are. Let's get that real quick. Let's get 2nd Ezra 9. All right. 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou, measure who? Us, the men of the Lord, me. Measure thou the time diligently in itself. How do you do that? Okay. By watching, being a watchman. All right. Watching the news, watching current events, and filtering it through the scriptures like we're doing right now. And when thou seest part of the signs, all right, past which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right? And we see all of this. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right, even tomorrow when they go down to the Capitol again to do Lord knows what, okay, you know what they did on J6. What are they going to do tomorrow? These are uproars of the people. All right? Then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay, so we're looking at the end of the world as we know it. And this war, World War III, is heralding the destruction of the world as we know it now before the kingdom of heaven, which is the next world to come, be ushered in. All right, with the King of Kings, Yahweh Shai, sitting on the throne, King David on his throne, and then the nation of Israel in rulership. All right, and thank you for the thumbs down the other day. You have been marked, and anybody else that wants to get some, bring it on. All right, now let's get to the prophecy. All right, Revelation 16 and 12. Read it in the King James first. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Now, how does this have to do with World War III? Let's read the NLT. Then the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great Euphrates River, and it dried up, so that the kings from the east could march their armies, look at that word, armies, towards the west without hindrance. Okay? This is about World War III. The kings of the east. So the Most High, along with these devils who, have their little heart machines, and, they can do things with the weather. So, in the spirit, here's what's going on. All right? So that the kings from the east could march their armies toward the west without hindrance. Meaning this, they're all going to meet where? In the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's go here. All right. God said in the NLT, I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. And that's in that area. That's the Middle East. All right. So Let's go back real quick to Revelation 16. Then the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and it dried up so that the kings of the east could march their armies towards the west. That is the Most High bringing the water down so that he could gather the troops into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, so let's watch this. This is Maxogear channel, September 4th. Euphrates River running dry, so the prophecy is coming to pass.
You may have thought, with all the news about it, that the U.S. or the western U.S. was the only place experiencing an extreme drought. However, you would be wrong. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast once again, everybody. This time, still speaking about drought, but in a different location of the world, over in the Middle East.
In the Middle East.
And at the moment, those are the exact conditions that the Mesopotamian region of the Middle East.
Now look, just look at all of the, you got Israel, you got Iraq, you got Iran here, Kuwait, Syria, where there's heavy war going on, Lebanon, right? You got Hamas and Hezbollah down in here, all right? This is the Middle East. Got it? And here's the Euphrates here. I believe this is the Tigris. Okay. So the kings of the east are in this region. They're going to move west. All right, so let's watch this.
East is in, with the two big primary water sources, the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, being between 50 and 70% below their normal levels. Obviously, the reduced level is different based on where along the point of the river you're looking. The rivers originate in Turkey, up in the mountains, and flow down through Syria and then through Iraq, where they provide the various populations water supplies and also their irrigation water for their farming. Most of it is regional subsistence farming. It's not like the California Valley, where you can wave off a fair bit of it as industrial farming. No, these are not large corporations growing nuts and other things for nasty tasting dairy replacements in quotation marks. These are communities and regions growing just their food to feed themselves. And their ability to do so is jeopardized because of the present conditions of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, in large part being caused by the severe drought in the region, the dryness of which, in Turkey in particular at least, and even in their neighbor Greece, has been resulting in really bad wildfires over the last several months or so over the course of the summer. So the drought is the ultimate reason, although there are some other adding or additive factors that are themselves caused by the drought. The drought just causing, in particular, Turkey to make some water withholding decisions, holding back more of the river's flow to try to keep their reservoirs from dropping too quickly, which obviously, since they're where the rivers originate, that's the most upriver region, that further lowers or cuts down on the river levels as they pass down through the downriver nations, Syria and Iraq. Now, obviously, that's resulting in even further hardship for the people in their neighbor Syria, who've already been dealing with things over the last 10 years or so since the Syria situation started. Now, I believe I did mention before this was one of the this is one of the particular areas in the world where an actual water war could end up happening in one way or another, with the other potential ones being between India and China, India and Pakistan, or Egypt and Ethiopia. This was one of the few other ones. However, ultimately, probably one of the least likely to happen, simply because all Iraq or Syria could try to make a quick flight dash over the border and bomb some of the dams. Turkey has an actual military, while Syria and Iraq kind of just don't. It's like the Egypt versus Ethiopia comparison. Also, Syria wouldn't really be making any kind of cohesive response anyways.
Now he's talking about war, all right, over the situation. Water is a valuable resource, okay? Enough so that you might have to go bomb somebody's dam, right?
Because the Syria situation is or has become kind of permanent, and the country internally is factionized and split like I don't know 5 different ways at this point. So yeah, that's the general quick summation of it. Euphrates and Tigris are going relatively dry in relative perspective to what their water levels would otherwise normally be, and ultimately is just likely going to result in prolonged suffering as opposed to any kind of actual conflict. But I will pray that their normal water levels get restored. That's it for this one. So thank you everybody for sticking around and listening. May God bless and protect all of you, and I will see you all around next time.
But wait a minute. He's talking about hopefully they get restored. Well, what does this say? All right. Then the angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and it dried up. Why? Because God is gathering the troops in the valley of Jehoshaphat, so that the kings from the east could march their armies towards the west without hindrance. Okay? So, I mean, it's not going to go back the other way. What is God doing? I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Slovakia, that's not what I want. I want NLT. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. This is what God is doing. That's why the Euphrates is drying up. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train every slot. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. Come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley of Jehoshaphat. And now, O Lord, call out your warriors. Okay, those are the angels who will get involved later on. Let the nations be called to arms. Let them march to the valley. March what? Through that dry river. March to the valley of Jehoshaphat. There I, the Lord, will sit to pronounce judgment on them all. All right. Swing the sickle for for the harvest is ripe. Come, tread the grapes, for the winepress is full. The storage vats are overflowing with wickedness of these people. Thousands upon thousands are waiting in the valley of decision. There, the day of the Lord will soon come. All right. So that's why, and this is prophecy. You see these things happening right now. You see the troops are all down there jockeying for position. They're running up into Afghanistan, trying to claim whatever's left there, tungsten, whatever. Natural resources are there that China's got to go grab and to make their computer chips. All right, so this is a Deep Journal channel breaking. Attacks on U.S. military bases continue. They're down there fighting. It's got to be down in Iraq or in Syria. All right. All right, so does it say? It doesn't say. It's launched from Iraq. Breaking 5 Chinese J-16 warplanes attacked Taiwan. That's huge. That is huge. Okay, look, North Korea fires missiles. What targets what? U.S. troops. Nuclear gift to Iran. Test to explode Japan. Look at this. Japan, North Korea, Iran, China, Russia, Israel, Tel Aviv. Oh, wait, this is 3 months ago. Slovakia. Okay? So, all of this going on right now is biblical prophecy. And you can thumbs down it all you want. You think that America's not involved in this? You're in up to your neck. All right? This is Babylon the Great. Right? And them nukes are going to destroy the system, the beast system as we know it. 2 hours ago, this is Secret Files 333 channel. Several rockets fell in Kabul. All right, so that's in Afghanistan. Pakistan, Russia to coordinate positions on Afghanistan. See? Right in the Middle East. You tell me that the troops aren't being gathered. Look at this. The troops are being gathered. The river is drying up. All right? India. Taliban warns India against military presence in what? In Afghanistan. Are they not all rushing down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat? They're being gathered. Clearly, prophecy is coming to pass. So this is very soon.
Taliban warns India against military presence in Afghanistan. Mohammed Suhail Shaheen, in an exclusive interview with news agency ANI, discussed the Taliban's outlook towards neighboring countries like India. Afghanistan's second largest capital, Kandahar, fell to the Taliban on Friday. Closing in on Kabul, the terrorist group has managed to take over large swathes of territory, including the crucial provincial capitals of Herat and Lashkar-Gah. As threat looms large on
The troops are obviously being gathered into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? For an ambush. God is going to ambush them with his troops. The Lord of hosts.
Kabul, Taliban spokesperson Mohammed Suhail Shaheen, in an exclusive interview with news agency ANI, discussed the Taliban's outlook towards neighboring countries like India, its relations with Pakistan-based terror groups, and recent attacks on religious minorities such as the Sikh community in the war-torn nation. On being asked if the Taliban can assure India that Afghan soil will not be used against it, the spokesperson claimed that the group's policy was to refrain from using its soil against any country, including its neighbors. There is no danger from our side to embassies and diplomats. We won't target any embassy or diplomat. We've said that in our statements many times.
You might not, but the people, the next terrorist group, if you will, that America funds and arms to destabilize the region, they will. Okay, so it's on this perpetual war. First of all, it's coming down from on high, so the fighting is not going to stop. All right, the troops are being gathered.
It is our commitment. We have a general policy that we're committed not to allow anyone to use Afghan soil against any country, including the neighboring countries, said Mohammed Suhail Shaheen. However, he also addressed India's support to the Afghanistan security forces, warning that the fate of military presence in Afghanistan was an open book for everyone to see. If they, India, come to Afghanistan militarily and have presence there, I think that will not be good for them. They've seen the fate of military presence in Afghanistan of other countries, so it is an open book for them, he said.
India and Pakistan have been fighting for years over the Khyber and over, and both of them got nukes. All right, you can't see this. All right, we're gonna read this one more time, and then we'll get out. And this is why, the truth is why people put the thumbs down, and I'm glad that you do it. Okay, here's what you don't want to see. This is Joel 3 and 2. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? Why is God doing that? There will I judge them. Judge who? The nations, not just the armies, and the nations. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right here it's armies, right here it's nations. Okay, it's both. Okay, why? There will I put them on trial for what they did to my people Israel. Who are his people Israel? Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. What happened to those people? What happened to the Native American Indian? What happened to him? What happened over here in Babylon the Great, also known as America? What happened to the so-called blacks? All right, the so-called African American. What happened? Those are God's people, Israel, his inheritance. Who are his inheritance? All right, Israel. Not the people in the land of Israel. All right? Because they scattered my people among the nations. Well, it can't be the people over there in Israel because the true Israelites were scattered among the nations. And the land was divided up between who? Who's over there right now fighting over the land that doesn't belong to them? Okay? Let's go further. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. See that word, slaves? What people is the word slaves synonymous with? Oh, the Slavs. Slavs, the Slavic people. No. So-called African American. Those are the true Israelites. Okay? And God is about to restore their prosperity. All right? Meaning the kingdom of heaven. All right? So put your damn thumbs down and stay the fuck off of my page if you don't want to find out what's going on. It's going to happen anyway. How about that? They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes and sold girls for enough wine to drink. All right? That's why God is gathering them into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Then what is he going to do? All right? When he gets them all down there, let all your fighting men advance for the attack, right? Train even your weakling when they're all down there. And now, Lord, call out your warriors. And now, put that ambush on that ass. Okay? Here's what's going on here. Here's God's warriors. And here's Satan's angels. All right? And that's just what it is. All right? So, today, that's it for the World War III update. I hope that the elect were edified. With that, I'm going to say shalom.